Okay, so how many out there have been duped into buying these U-Butte batteries from eBay that claim very high energy densities? The 18650 cell they are, the most popular and common out there. This one's got the wow factor as well, gold and black cover, claiming 4 amp hours of stored energy, but it'll look pretty fancy, doesn't it? Keep in mind that the top of the wazzer brands such as Panasonic, Samsung, all them, their best is about 3.6 amp hours. So cheap Chinese jobs simply aren't going to be what they state on the battery. So this one claims 4 amp hours. I thought, oh, what the hell, name of research, I'll buy a few. And I think I got 12 of these batteries for $20 or something like that. So it was a too good to be true offer, but I decided to give them a test anyway. So we printed up a quick holder, made ourselves a 12 volt cell with a BMS, charged them up to 4.2 volts per cell, and then we discharged it across our 10 ohm load here through our power meter, which tells us amp hours, watt hours, all that sort of garbage. Lo and behold, at 1 amp hour these batteries just dropped right off. So that's all I got out of the claimed 4 amp hours is 1 amp hour. So yeah, you can stay on the floor too. Cheap garbage. So we're always on the lookout for good cells. So I bought an e-bike, 36 volts, very cheap because the battery was knackered, surprise, surprise. The battery came out of it, I stripped apart, I got all the cells out of it. Now all these cells still have 3.7 volts across them. I've checked a couple and they're about 1.8 amp hours each. They claim 2 amp hours, unbranded cell. So the cells are pretty good. It turns out the BMS had cacked itself on one bank. So I've printed up a holder, another one's on the printer at the moment. I'll get rid of the cobwebs and we're going to put these back together and make ourselves another 36 volt battery for our e-bike. But that's a one-off thing, you know, you don't often come across that. And like I said, we're always on the lookout for good cheap cells. So my next thought was to put 4 of these in a 2P 2S situation to give us a 36 volt battery. This is Ozito, an Ozito battery pack, 4 amp hours, 18 volts. I use Ozito gear, all my power tools are Ozito. Because they've become very reliable and still quite cheap, 5-year replacement warranty. You can't really beat it. So, no, I don't work for Ozito. In saying that, these are still like $80 a battery, and when you need 4 of them, that's still 320 bucks, and then you've got to make up a carrier that's going to carry them, and then you're going to charge them individually on the Ozito battery charger, because all these have built-in BMSs, and it would get messy trying to sort that out in series. Okay, so here's the big one. We were in Aldi yesterday and came across these batteries here. So 20 volts, 4 amp hours, from good old China, and they're for the Garden Line range of power tools. I don't have any of their power tools, but this battery was only $30. They had a big basket full of them, 30 bucks each, and I thought, what the hell, I'll grab one, rip it apart and see what's inside it. So 4 amp hours at 20 volts, so if we bought 4 of these and done a 2P 2S situation with each pack, we would have a nice 36 volt 8 amp hour battery for my electric bike. Now because of the price, 30 bucks, 80 bucks less capacity, I was very doubtful about what these cells inside were going to be. Just some cheap Chinese thing, probably not 4 amp hours. And once again we would have been buying garbage, but we bought it anyway in the name of research. And what we're going to do now is open this up and we're going to have a look inside. So I'll go ahead, rip it out of the box, rip the shell off it, and we'll see what we've got inside. Okay, so just 4 star drive screws. That's what we call these things here, little star drives. That one there is a that one there's a cheap Chinese brand with nothing on it. Okay, so this is what we've got inside. Has its own BMS, nice little digital display here. Battery's at 70%, which is what they should come at. But here's the good thing. See if you can read this. Do you see the brand? Now unbelievably, these have 10 Samsung 18650 cells inside them. Now those cells, they are a 2 amp hour cell, and these ones are 20p, so each cell is good for 22 amps max discharge. So we have 2 in parallel, 5 in series, and this, it's a 2P5S battery. Even has a thermal sensor going to the BMS, surprisingly. And that's basically what we have with this cheap $30 battery. So that equates to, because there's 10 cells, 30 bucks, we're getting a Samsung 18650 2 amp hour cell for $3, plus a flash little digital display, the BMS, and the cover. So now they are from China. You may be thinking that that's a bit of a dodgy job. They won't be Samsung cells, but here is one. This is the first one I bought, because I actually went and bought 3 more when I found out what these were for my 36 volt bike battery. Here is one. I ripped the BMS off it and just left us the bare cell, and I charged it up. So each cell was 4.1 volts. Samsung say you can discharge these down to 2.5. In my test I only went down to 3. So I charged it up to the 4.1 volts per cell pair. Then we put it on our discharge circuit here. That's a 10 ohm 100 watt resistor, and like I said, this flash little board here, this gives us our volts, our amps, amp hours, watt hours, all that sort of garbage as we're discharging. So and I stopped the discharge at 3 volts, not the 2.5 Samsung say you can pull these down to, so it still had a bit left in it. And this pack actually gave me 4.14 amp hours. So it actually exceeded the claimed 4 amp hours, which tells me that these are indeed genuine Samsung cells. So if you're after a good cheap Samsung cell, get down to Aldi and buy yourself a heap of these batteries, and you'll be getting a good deal. $3 a cell. On eBay they're selling for between $8 and $12 a cell for the 2 amp hour ones. So not their highest capacity, but a good quality battery, and with 4 of these packs we're going to have our e-bike pack of 36 volts, 8 amp hours. In my next video I'm going to show you exactly how easy it is to make a e-bike pack using these very carriers that the cells are in. Dead simple. Everything you need is there, ready to go. A hot glue gun or a tube of silicon's all you're going to need. BMS, grab one off eBay. I think they're only about $18 or something for a 10S BMS. This one was only $12. That's a 4S, of course. Yeah, so there you go. Great bargain. Genuine Samsung cells in these El Cheapo Xfinity batteries from China. Very surprising, but after a lot of hunting we've finally found a good source for a top quality 18650 cell. Thanks for watching, and make sure you watch the next video, and I'm going to show you how simple it is to make a battery pack out of these. And all you're going to need is your BMS. Like I said, you get them off eBay. You'll need a 10S BMS for a 36 volt battery pack. In my case, 48. Well, we haven't come across that yet. 3 of these in series is going to be too much for a 48 volt battery, unless you want to ramp up the voltage through your 48 volt system. Okay, we'll see you next video. Have a good day, guys.